Before I show you this next setup, just prepare yourself. Why? Pretty much everyone who knows about this YouTube channel probably knows about the Rating Subscribers Fingerboard series. If you haven't heard about it, this is basically how it works. I have a Discord. Over on the Discord, anybody is able to submit whatever fingerboard photo they want. I pretty much randomly select a bunch of people who submitted one of their photos, and then I rate it in a video just like this one. So today, I'll be reacting and rating to your guys' fingerboards in this video. Before I jump into looking at your guys' setups, I just wanted to explain a little bit about how I actually rate your guys' boards. If you just have a stock tech deck, I'm pretty much just rating it off of the graphic or in how good of condition it is. Pretty much any other board besides that is basically just how it looks, the parts on it, and how everything matches. So the very first board on the list is this, and this is just a standard tech deck. But the graphics do look really good. I've never seen this tech deck graphic before, but I really want it because that just looks so cool. So for this one, I'll rate it an 8 out of 10 because man, that do look clean. In the second spot, we already got an instant 10 out of 10 because Kermit is on it. Like, you can't beat that. But this board actually looks so clean as well. We got dynamic trucks, a Supreme board. Like, you really can't beat this. Easy 10 out of 10. Here's a pretty clean fingerboard setup. We got the Black River deck, dynamic trucks. Nothing too fancy about this board other than it does have really good parts, but nothing crazy with graphics and stuff. So I'll give this one a 7.5 out of 10. In the fourth spot here, I want you guys to appreciate how clean the edges of this graphic are. Like, look at the edge of that. Like, it is just perfect all the way up the board. Everything just looks so good about this board, so I'll give this one a 9.5 out of 10. Here we have a really cool looking board. I don't know if it came like that or if you just took some spray paint and kind of gave it like that little paint job, but overall, I just love how this looks. It really looks like you painted it, but that is totally all right because I love how that looks. I think I'll give this one probably a 9.8 out of 10 because that is really clean. This setup has some of those newer China trucks, which actually do look pretty good, not gonna lie. It looks like you have some of the new 2022 series ill pills on this board, and also I see your keyboard in the back. The fingerboard is a 7.2 out of 10, but that keyboard though, why did you get those keycaps? Why did you have to get those like open keycaps? Like, why? Keyboard 2 out of 10, I'm sorry. It is a nice keyboard, but can't do it with those keycaps. Okay, when I first saw this board, I had to put my phone down. Like, this board just looks so clean. Everything about it is just so clean. I think the only thing that could really make this better is if you had like red bushings in it so it matches the roses, but other than that, this is a 10 out of 10. I don't even know what to say about this now. I'm just trying to figure out what's up with that Lego piece. Like, why is there like a little indent in that one? Like, I don't even know what they're called, just like the little things that stick out. I don't even know at this point. Like it's obviously a high quality fingerboard. I can't even name those parts. I don't even know what that is, so 12 out of 10. Okay, when I first saw this board, it looked pretty normal, but I can't really figure out what those wheels are. I don't know whether they're like a smaller company of wheels, but they almost look like uneven in a way. Like, they don't all look the same width. I would say this board is pretty basic, and again, I'm not a fan of like super detailed graphics, so I'll give this one probably a 5 out of 10. Now this setup, my goodness, that is clean. You got the 34mm dynamics on this with the black base plate, so any board you put those trucks on just looks so good. I think I'm gonna give this one a 10 out of 10 because you guys know how much I love split fly decks. Okay, when I first saw this board, I kind of liked the look of it, but that green and red just does not go together, so I have to give this one a 4 out of 10. For this board, bruh, what is up with that bruh board? You pretty much just took a wooden spoon, threw some tech deck trucks on it, and called it a fingerboard. Am I calling it a bad board? No, like this board actually does look pretty good. No, but for real though, like if that spoon had a little bit of like curve in the top and you slapped some grip tape on that, there's no reason why that actually wouldn't be an alright board. This one fits in like the meme category, but still, I'll give this an 8 out of 10. Here I'm pretty sure this is a Tech Deck Performance Series deck. I'm not 100% sure on that one, but I'm pretty sure it is. Pretty standard parts on this board. I do like the look of that graphic, so I'll give this a 6 out of 10. Before I show you this next setup, just prepare yourself. Why? Guys, I don't get paid enough to rate your guys' boards. You tried to make a fingerboard out of a can, but there's just so many things wrong with this. Can you guys explain why there has to be that crease in the middle of the board? Like, why? Also, I don't know for sure, but that blue wheel looks different than the green wheel, not based on color, but like, I'm pretty sure that green wheel is a Tech Deck one, and then that blue one is like an actual bearing wheel. Like, this board is just so cursed. Negative 15 out of 10. Number 15, Burger King foot lettuce. I know that this board is not very high end, but that is some effort to make it into a Gripsion board. Big respect to whoever made this, because that actually does look really good. They even wrote something on the side that says, I can't afford the real deal, but I made this, sub to TheGripsion. You guys heard the man. Sub to TheGripsion. Respect for this board. I'll give this one a 9 out of 10. Not even based on looks or parts, but like, that is a nice board. Shop Gripsion fingerboards. All right, here we have two boards, a black river deck and then a pork deck. Both are pretty nice. I can't even say I've seen a pork deck that has silver trucks. Like, they all have gold trucks on them. I'm not even complaining. Like, they do look just so good on these boards. I'll give the one on the left probably a 7 out of 10 and the one on the right an 8.2 out of 10. I don't even know if you can call this setup a fingerboard, but if you do call it a fingerboard, this is like a 1 out of 10. Where do I begin with this board? Why is one of your tech decks bent that much? Why do you have a perfectly good deck on top but you tape them together? Why didn't you just put the trucks off of the bent board onto the good board? Think harder, not smarter. But y'all already know. Gotta give this a negative 8 out of 10. Okay, I saw this same setup in one of my last videos, but I actually don't even know if this is the same person or not. I think the other people had dynamics, maybe. Either way, I love this graphic so much. If anybody watching this knows where I can get one of these, I would actually love to hear that, so please leave a comment down below because I actually am planning on getting one of these. This setup, I know that it's pretty basic parts-wise, but that graphic though, 8.1 out of 10. Here, we got 3 incredible setups. I don't even know what to say about these, honestly. Like, these have dynamics, they got ale pills, they got oak wheels. Like, you can't really beat this. You got like a glue string hanging off of one of your boards, but like, honestly, that's just cosmetic. We got the Sprite board. I can't even keep a straight face looking at these boards. I'll give these setups an, I don't know, A for effort, I guess, but like 2 out of 10. Okay, this is just a tech deck, but I actually don't even know when this would have been made because I haven't even seen a box like this before. This was back when they had like the screwdriver and not like the multi-tool, and they even had like the little wrench piece. Now, when I was a lot younger, I actually remember having one of these, but I don't remember the box looking like that or like the packaging, but it had these same shaped wheels and also the same tools, so I don't really know. I'll give this a 5 out of 10. Here we have a pretty nice split ply. I'm not a huge fan of the colors, they're not like super vibrant, so I'll give this a 5 out of 10. Here's another set of those like newer China trucks that actually have a very similar shape to dynamics. They even have that same pin that goes right to the base plate, which is pretty cool and honestly probably decent as well. A little bit too detailed of a graphic for me, but I'll give this one a 7.6 out of 10. Here we have 2 setups, but why do you have one board with really good parts and a teak sticker on it? Now, don't get me wrong, teak isn't a bad company, but if you have that high end of a setup, I wouldn't ruin it with a teak sticker. I'll give these ones a 5.7. I don't even know how these people made this setup. Like, it doesn't really look like it's made out of popsicle sticks. It almost looks like you had like some thin plywood and you somehow made it into a fingerboard. These are the type of people I always hope win giveaways because like, these are the people who put in effort to try and fingerboard if they're on a budget. So I would really like to see some of these people walk away with an actual good fingerboard. I'll give this one a 4.2 out of 10. This setup, we have a Tony pork board, and this is probably my favorite graphic out of all of them, especially because no matter what parts you put on it, it just looks so clean. Like, dynamics with white wheels on this board just looks so clean, so I'll give this a 10 out of 10. I would say this is probably a 26mm fingerboard if I were to guess. Yeah, there is no way that this is 24mm. I'm a little concerned about your Xbox if I'm being honest. It looks like you spilled something or burnt something or smeared something. I don't know. You just have like a bunch of marks on your Xbox. Pretty nice keyboard though, not gonna lie. I'll give this setup an 8.1. Here we have a setup, and if I'm being honest, I haven't really seen this type of shape before. I'm only ever used to seeing your standard shape like this or some sort of shape with like different shaped edges to it, but never really just like a complete rounded board like that. The parts on this aren't super good, so I'll give this a 3.5 out of 10. Here we have another Tony pork board and probably just a straight tech deck on the left. And I'm still looking for one of those tech decks with like the colored trucks because they look pretty cool actually. 7.8 on the left and a 9.2 on the right. Pretty basic parts on this board. I don't really like that nothing really matches, which I'm kind of big on. We don't talk about this board of mine, but just look at some of my other boards. I'll give this a 5.5. I've been staring at this setup, trying to figure out how they even would have made that like indented part in the board. Like, I really want to make boards like that, but I don't even know how. Like, it almost looks like you have the cutout orange ply on top and then just a straight orange ply on the bottom, and then it's like glued together and sanded or something. But I'm still trying to figure out this board. Overall, really good parts, so I'll give this an 8.3. Here we have a setup. This is pretty much my first setup with like actual good foam grip tape on it. As good as China grip gets, but I see you tried to make some homemade bushings. I don't even know what material that is, maybe like eraser or something. So I'll give this probably a 3 out of 10. Out of all the Berlin wood boards, this is probably one of my favorite graphics. It just got that streak that goes down the middle with the white on the outside, and it just looks so clean. We got Black River trucks, and I want to say these are maybe oak wheels. 9.9 out of 10. I don't even know what graphic this would have been, but that is pretty worn out. It almost even looks like you have yellow from the rail on your board. Like, you can just see that like little yellow part of it. Pretty basic parts on this setup, so I'll give this a 4.6 out of 10. This looks like maybe a dynamic complete. I know they sell those on their site. I actually kind of forget what their wheels look like, but I kind of feel like they might be these. I haven't tried these wheels, but apparently they're actually pretty good. 7.2. This is just one of those cheap rail fingerboards that they sell. It actually does kind of look like a skateboard. Like, the nose and tail of it are very mellow, and it's also like a very narrow board. So it actually kind of does look like a skateboard. Probably gonna need to give this a 1.8. Here we just have a standard tech deck. You switch the wheels up a little bit just to give it that extra bit of style. That bushing on the bottom truck, that is one beat up bushing. 4.5 out of 10. I like the look of this board quite a bit. It has that like Pokemon theme to it. But other than that, pretty basic trucks, just cheap wheels, cheap trucks. Kind of just default bushings. Is there any way you can clean your keyboard though? Like, that's a pretty dusty keyboard. Still a nice colored keyboard though. It's better than having a red and black keyboard. This fingerboard will be a solid 7 out of 10, and the keyboard will be a 2 out of 10. Only a couple more setups to go, and I almost didn't even catch that this is one of my signature fingerboards with Bull God fingerboard. Here it is here. I believe there's not very many of these left in stock, so go get one of these while you can. Go check these out over at Bull God Fingerboard. I'm not even just saying this because I have this board and it's also one of my signature boards, but like, this is a 10 out of 10. Just those wheels go so well with the board, plus with the dynamics on them. Like, they just look so good. Here we got the classic homemade paper fingerboard. Take 2 tech decks, put some paper in between, slap it together with some glue, and you got a fingerboard. I like the little Pac-Man graphic on that. That is pretty cool. I'll give this a 4 out of 10. Now this is a nice keyboard. If I'm being honest, I don't even think I've seen a keyboard with like half black, half white keycaps, but I actually want to do that to my keyboard because it actually does have a really nice look to it. As for the boring part, the fingerboard. This board does have some really good parts on it. I actually prefer the special edition dynamic trucks because it has like the pin that goes right from the base plate up and then just your standard lock nut on the top. That is a nice board, so I'll give that a 9.8 out of 10. Okay, this is the final board, but I actually am really confused about this one. If anybody knows anything about this board, I would love to hear it in the comments down below. Like, I really want to see the bottom of this board because what is up with those trucks? It's like if you took the base plate and turned it 90 but kept the hanger the same. Like, it just looks so strange. I don't even know what year that would have been made, but that is like the old Tech Deck logo, so I'd say at least 2010. I'll give this an 8 out of 10 for the Tech Deck category because I've never seen this before. I survived. Some of those setups were just painful to look at. Big shout out to everybody who saw their fingerboard in this video, and also if you want your fingerboard in the next Rating Subscribers fingerboard video, go join the Discord in the description down below. Thank you to everybody who watched this video and also everybody who submitted a photo, and I will see you in my next video.